I know, it's usually you that's making crazy noise, but it's fine. What's going on? Welcome to another fantastic, wonderful, amazing, controversial episode.
Controversial.
I don't know. Welcome to the Laugh and Be Blessed podcast with your hosts, Jake and Chia Rubel.
Hey.
It's going to sound different, guys, but that's because we did it. We are in the out-den.
We're in the out-den.
We're in the out-den. We're here in the...
We're in the out now.
We're in the out. So we're here in the future studio of the blessed studio. We're here in the blessed studio.
There you go.
It's just not done yet. So it'll sound better. But we were like, you know what? Let's go set it up out there. Let's go do it out there. Let's get it going. So if the audio is a little off, that's only hopefully going to be for this week. Everything should be back to normal soon. But we missed you and wanted to do this podcast. So how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm sleepy. This heat's getting to me.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like me too, but not nearly as much as you. Like, I don't want it to be a thing where it's just like, oh, I'm also tired. But it does make me, it just wears me out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you are like, can't function with high heat.
No.
Yeah, that's why you married a dude who's not hot. You're
Whatever.
just like, I can't handle that. Can't handle that. So, yeah,
because I can only handle your heat, so anymore, and it's too much.
Oh, so you are saying that I'm not very attractive, is what you're saying.
I'm saying you're very hot, so any other heat that comes my way, it's too much.
I see what you're saying now.
It's pushing me over the edge.
It's still not true, but thank you for saying so. We're going to jump right into this episode because Chia has to work tonight, but I just got back from the road, so wanted to make sure that we did an episode. And it was basically like as soon as I got back home, we had a whole bunch of other stuff we had to do. Chia also was working, and we were going to do this podcast last night, but we didn't. So here we are today, rushing through it. But it's going to be fine. So
just a little bit.
Yeah. So let's get into some of the shows that I've been doing. I was just recently in Atlanta. It's the first time I've stayed in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. We've driven through it a bunch.
Yeah.
As fast as possible. Not a fan of driving through Atlanta.
No.
Everyone there drives like they're in New York without having to. There's not that much people.
Yeah.
Traffic's bad, but it's not the worst.
No.
But people treat it like it is, which makes it worse.
Yeah.
So, but it's totally fine. I mean, I had a great time. I was with AJ Wilkerson. We did some shows for Hissy Fit Comedy, and Joe Pettis put us on one of his shows as well. It was fantastic. Kind of a low turnout for most of the shows, but they were all really good, which is a good feeling. If you show up and there's only 50 or 60 people there, and you're like, oh man, I just drove 8 hours for this, and then they're one of the greatest crowds. You're like, all right, worth it.
Yeah.
Fine, it's fine. I don't care I don't care if it's 2 people in the crowd as long as they're great people.
Right.
If it's 2 people who are like, oh, there's comedy, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, this sucks. But if it's 2 people that are so into it, I don't care how many people are in the crowd. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
As long as everybody's into it. So that was a whole lot of fun. I did meet some people out there that I'm assuming listen to the podcast based off of kind of how they came up to me after the last show and was talking to me. So I don't know for sure. They never came right out and said it, but they acted like they know who I am. So I'm just claiming them. They're a blessed one. So it was great meeting you. They were also from Indiana, which was kind of wild. So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then I do have some shows coming up. So July 13th. I shouldn't say next week because who knows. So July 13th, I'm in Wichita, Kansas. I'm going to be there with, AJ Wilkerson. I don't know why it took me a minute to think of that, but I'll be there. It's a place called Vorshay's Cocktail Lounge, and it looks like it's going to be really, really fun. We were kind of looking at the lineup, because a lot of times me and AJ will pick up some shows like this, and it's in a cool room, but a lot of times they don't have comedy there a lot and stuff. But we were looking at the other people, and Dusty Slay is there in August, so we were like, oh, okay, right on. So it's just me and AJ on that show. I don't know if they'll have an opener for us or what, but that is going to be a lot of fun. So super stoked about that. So that's Wichita, Kansas, July 13th. July 21st, I will be at Gallery Coffee Company. It sounds weird. I was like a coffee lounge, and I looked it up, and it's a legit venue. Like, it looks like it's a comedy club in there. So that's in Munising. I don't know. It's in Michigan. Munising? I think it's Munising, Michigan. So Grant Volkmar's coming with me to that. He's going to open for me. It's, very excited about that. That's going to be so much fun. Dark Side of the Barn is going to be a fantastic show July 23rd in Spencer, Indiana at Stable Studios. There's going to be multiple bands. I know Graciously Departed is going to be there. Free is going to be there. Adam Hartmother will be doing the entire Dark Side of the Moon album. So really, really excited for that. So, and then July 31st, just picked up a show this morning. July 31st, I'll be at Black Circle Brewing in Indianapolis, and that is a free show. Ooh. So for more information, go to my comedy page on Facebook, just Jake Rubel, and all ticket information, everything is on there. So that is what's going on. Like I said, we're going to speed round this baby. You know what I'm saying? She always gets mad at me because I take too long on things. So we're going to speed round this. So let's get right into what we've been watching.
Okay.
I'm not even going to do the music. Let's just roll with it. I know you like when I do that. Other people like when I play the music, but you like just
it just depends on time.
Yeah, so we're gonna go right into it. So I'm gonna start with like what I've watched the most recently. So last night, while you were sleeping, and this morning I just finished it. It's called In Search of the Last Action Heroes. This is a fantastic documentary. So it is the same dudes or dudettes. Dudes is like all encompassing, just so everyone knows. Same people who made In Search of Darkness, which is our favorite documentary, part 1 and 2. It's I would assume it's your favorite.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like hours and hours and hours long, and we've watched it like 3 times.
Yeah.
So, same thing, only action movies.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really good. I really like it. I think there is a second one. I just haven't found it yet, so I need to find this second part to it. It's really good. If you like action movies or just like things like this, like documentary style stuff, check it out. So it's In Search of the Last Action Heroes, right? Yeah, The Last Action Heroes. Super, super good. You're going to love it. Check it out. You can get it, I think you have to buy it on Amazon right now. I'm not going to say there's like a free copy on YouTube, because that would be rude. I'm not going to say that.
Okay. Don't say it.
So purchase it on anyways. So I watched that, and then still going through South Park, still super enjoying it.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. You've been getting into it with me some too.
Yes.
I do like that. However, there is a show I watched in Atlanta. I watched a couple things. I watched something called, I think, Spiderhead. I think it's just called, like, Escaping Spiderhead, or maybe it's just called Spiderhead. It's got Chris Hemsworth in it, where he's basically, like, a bad guy. And it's really good. I enjoyed that movie thoroughly. It is on Netflix. If you've not seen it, might be on Hulu, but I think it's Netflix. Yeah, Netflix. If you've not seen it, go check it out. Watched a couple other things, but the thing that I watched from beginning to end, we watched it in Atlanta. Like, it was so good that we were on like the last episode and almost was late to our last show because we were like, we have to finish this.
Nice.
So it's called The Bear.
Okay.
And it has Lip from Shameless.
Okay.
So he stars in it. Also, the dad from Nosferatu.
Okay.
So her dad is in it too.
Oh, nice.
That's what caught my eye. Yeah. AJ seen Lip, and I was like, I've never seen Shameless. And he's like, what? Yeah. I said, I can't watch Shameless because I was like, I know it sounds weird, and I'm not saying my life is that bad.
Yeah.
But there's too many things that are familiar to me.
Yeah, it's like, forget there's another show that you used to feel like that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just like, I was just like, I can't watch it. Spun is like that too. The movie Spun. I loved that movie when I lived that life.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, it makes me sick. I can't watch it. So anyways, The Bear, it's about a restaurant. It's about a Chicago-based restaurant, and this guy's brother dies, leaves him the restaurant. He's like a world-famous chef. He's a chef in like the best restaurant in the entire world. He's got to come back to Chicago and run like this little family business that's like just like a Italian beef sandwich shop. But it's just the way that it's written, the way that it's directed, the acting, everything about it is so good that I fell in love with it. So I've watched the entire first season now. I will more than likely watch it again. I think I'm going to start doing like reviews.
Ooh, yeah.
Just like little video reviews on YouTube. Maybe. I don't know. But I just loved it so much that I want more people to know about it.
Yeah.
It was extremely good. And then we watched The Platform.
Oh, God.
So tell us about that.
So The Platform, I kept seeing it on TikTok. And the premise of the movie is I still don't understand if it was you're being in prison or if everyone walked into this voluntarily. Some people did for sure.
No, I think it was some people were basically in prison and then other people were not.
Okay. And it seems like there's this guy. He goes into it voluntarily for 6 months, and I guess he gets some kind of degree. So I felt like it was some sort of dystopia universe. But he would get some form of degree when he came out. But you start on a level, you and another cellmate. And unless something happens, you keep this other cellmate. And the level you're on depends on how much food you get. So on level 0, this huge platform is filled to the brim with all kinds of delicious food. Then it goes down to level 1.
Yeah, so it's like they have like a minute or 2 minutes to eat as much as possible, basically.
And then it keeps...
Or they could just eat what they need.
Yeah.
But you can't keep anything.
Right. If you keep something, it screws with the temperature of the room to where it's miserable. You can't hoard any food.
Right.
So it keeps going down the levels, starting with level 1. And at first... I don't think we actually ever found out how many levels there were.
We did at the very end, but let's not spoil it.
Yeah. So it keeps going down and down, and to where basically the farther down you get, the less food or no food you're going to get.
Right.
And you're in that cell for an entire month.
So you might have a month with no food.
And then the next time, like, you could be on level, like, 150.
Yeah.
And there's, been 149 levels above that with 2 people each, so you might not get anything. And then at the end of that month, you could wake up and you're on level 5.
Right. Or level 140, which means now you have another month of not eating food.
Exactly.
So use your imagination to figure out how are they eating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what was your overall feel of the movie? Like, how did you feel about it? Now, also, this is a foreign film.
Yes.
And the dubbing is not good, and the subtitles are also rough.
It's actually better to watch without subtitles.
Yeah, or to watch it just with subtitles.
Because the dubbing and the subtitles do not match up.
Right, yeah.
So, I like the premise of the movie. The end did not make me happy.
Right, same.
But I like the premise of the movie stating, we overconsume.
Well, I think it was also we don't care about others. Because, like, right off the bat, this isn't a spoiler. He says it almost, like, immediately since the movie starts. The people above on the platforms, because there's a hole in the middle of your cell that the platform goes through. And the people above will not talk to the people below.
Like, you can look up at each other and you could talk and communicate.
But, like, right off the bat, he's trying to talk to the people above him, and his cellmate's like, they won't speak to you. And he says, why? And he goes, because they're above, we're below. So then he starts trying to talk to the people below him, and he's like, don't talk to them. And he goes, why? And he goes, because they're below.
Yeah.
So it's like this whole, like, I think, I don't know if I was reading into it too much, but it was like this whole upper-lower class
Oh, no, I agree.
Because even, like, multiple times the guy would just, like, piss on the people below him. Like, it was like they were just showing how much they do not care about the people below them. And how the people above them don't like them.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, well, they're doing it to us, so I'm going to do it to them below us. Like, we're getting it from up here, so it's just going to keep trickling down. And I think that was the whole overall arc of the movie, was like, how can we figure out a way to break this cycle?
Yeah.
So I did like it, but I'm with you. I think it could have been done differently. But again, it's a foreign film, so like in that culture, it could have been way different.
Yeah.
So for us, we were just like, a lot of times we just like a bow to be put on things. We like it to be finished.
Yeah.
And I felt like that it didn't really finish.
No.
And it didn't really explain anything.
But it could have been one of those things to where it wants you to leave it open-ended.
Sure.
Like, now use your imagination. How do you think this should have finished?
Yeah, I agree.
Which could tell you a lot about yourself anyways.
Exactly. So it was very good. I would suggest to watch it. Just don't expect it to be like an amazing movie.
Yeah. And there are parts that can be pretty gruesome. So if you can't deal with gore.
Yeah, or just gross things in general. Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. What was the other movie that we watched? Not the one that we just watched. Not Spontaneous, but there was another one that we watched before the platform.
I felt like it had an ending like that, too.
It did, because I remember like right before the platform ended, I was just like, we're going to get another not great ending. Just a heads up.
Jeez, what was it?
I know. I cannot remember for the life of me now what it was.
That's why we should write these things down.
Yeah, we really need to. So while you think about that, I'll talk about Spontaneous. So Spontaneous is a movie that I'd never heard of before. I've never heard anyone talk about this movie at all. And I have no idea why. It's a couple of years old. And it was one of those movies, like a lot of times, see if you can, I thought you were going to try to pull up like our history or something. But a lot of times we'll just kind of we'll just randomly pick a movie. We'll just be going through, and then I'll just be like, this looks semi-interesting, let's just watch it. And from the very beginning of Spontaneous, it was so good. The acting was amazing throughout the entire film. The story was fantastic. The directing, everything. This movie literally had everything. It had comedy, suspense, horror, a love story. It had everything that I want in a movie. And it I kept bringing it up, and we were kind of joking about it, because after we watched it, I just kept telling Chia, this movie is amazing. That was one of the greatest movies I've ever watched. And to a lot of people that may sound silly, but the movie basically is about the senior class in high school that all of a sudden they're all spontaneously combusting. So, they're just in class and somebody just explodes. And it freaks everybody out, of course. Why wouldn't that? So then, as the movie goes on, it happens more and more to more and more students. So they're just, it's just spontaneous combustion. So it goes through the whole movie like that. And then but it doesn't focus, on that as much as it focuses on, what they're going through. Specifically, one character is, going through. And it's, to me, what I felt like it was kind of a retelling of, school shootings.
Yeah.
That's really what it felt like. But it was done in such an amazing way. And I can't remember, can you look up who wrote and directed this? It's the same guy who did The Babysitter on Netflix. And he also did Of Love and Monsters, which are all great movies. But, he did such a great job of making a story about basically
Brian Duffield.
Okay, yeah. So about making this story about these things that unfortunately in our society children, kids, young adults have to go through, being worried about these things. So the fear that they have that maybe I'm next, what if my school is next?
Yeah.
And things like that, but doesn't focus on the shooter.
Yeah. And
that's the thing that I've always talked with you about that frustrates me. Is I don't really want to watch about their story.
Well, that's the thing is we'll have, a school shooting will happen, and they'll focus so much on the shooter, on the perpetrator. I'm like, yeah, but what are those kids going through? And maybe it's something to where nobody wants to do an interview. I find that hard to believe. But what are they going through 5 years later, 10 years later? Is it affecting how they go into their workplace?
But also, feeding into the guy who did it so much, a lot of times causes it.
Yeah.
Because, there's been multiple shootings where they were like, this is how I got famous. Mm-hmm. And it's just frustrating to me. I'm not saying I have an answer to it, because I don't. No. And that's why I'm not in that world. I'm an entertainer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, the way that this guy or person put this movie together is amazing. It is so good. I highly, highly, highly recommend watching Spontaneous. Fantastic flick.
However, again, trigger warning.
Oh, huge trigger warning.
There is gore and stuff.
There's gore.
If you have been through a situation where there was an active shooter or something, even though there's no active shooter in it, you might be triggered.
And not only that, but there's a lot of like drug, alcohol use, stuff like that. So also, warning for that. But yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend it for somebody who is. I mean, the movie has everything in it. Like, I know that I'm making it sound like it's like this guy. Like, it's like, oh, it's this whole thing where he's just like a political movie. Like, it doesn't talk about guns. It doesn't talk about violence. It doesn't talk about anything like that. It's just a very beautifully done story that takes place in a horrible situation. Yeah. So, definitely check it out.
I really loved it, and I took some from it. Jake's like eyes were open.
I mean, it was just so amazing. It wasn't like it's not like a life-changing movie to me personally, but it was the art behind it. Yeah. Like, it was so artistic that it moved me to where I was just like, I don't remember the last time I watched a movie that was this artistic. Like, it was just so well done that from beginning to end there was no lulls in it for me. It was just, it started and it was amazing and it finished, I think, amazing. Like, some people will be upset about the ending. You might feel like you're not getting the closure, but like there's this whole great wrap up monologue that I feel like it was so well done, like the whole movie. And that's the thing is that, so like we started, his first films that we watched The Babysitter, and then we watched The Babysitter 2, Killer Queen, or whatever, Killer, yeah, I think that's what it is. Anyways, or Killer Bee maybe. I can't remember. But anyways, it's Babysitter 2. Those are both on Netflix. I like those movies. I think those are really good movies. Those are fun. They're just like fun, campy horror movies.
He wrote those, right? Not directed, yeah.
And then he wrote Of Love and Monsters, which we talked about a while back, which was a really fun movie. I really enjoyed that one too. But this is the first one that he directed. So he wrote and directed this, and I hope he continues to do it that way. It's just so good, and I'm looking forward to his next film, personally. So,
and then I've just been watching Game of Thrones, trying to get through it.
Yeah, just pushing.
No, it's good. I've just been wrapped up in reading when I have downtime or when I'm not passing out because I'm so tired. Yeah, I feel like I'm here lately. I'm either at work or I'm asleep. I just had 4 nights off, and like, luckily we had 2 days where we had to leave the house. Yeah. So that got me like up and moving around, but it also, like, I couldn't function until like evening time. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the heat's ridiculous. Like, you can probably hear the air conditioner in the background. There's no way I'm shutting that off. Yeah. I'm sure it's annoying, and I apologize, but like, we cannot shut that off, or this would be a sauna, and not in a good way. So, so all right, moving on. Let's talk a little bit about the games I've been playing. I do want to do this because there's a couple of games that I have been playing. So, first of all, I do want to give a shout out to Gavin, who sent me the games a while back. Thank you so much for that. I've also got some from a few other people. The people, oh man, that sounds so much better. Oh, really? That sounds way better. That's insane how much better it sounds. Wow. Anyways, so maybe we shouldn't have had it. Anyways, whatever. So the messages I've gotten from people and all that stuff about about video games, like, thank you, because I understand for a lot of people it's dumb. It's dumb for a grown man to like be so into video games, but I've talked about it before. This is my coping mechanism. This is what keeps me off drugs. So it is video games, and it has been glorious. It's been so much fun. I played Mario Party with the boys. That was a lot of fun. Roman, it was a little fun. Holden, it was a lot of fun. Roman's still kind of young, so sometimes it's just difficult. But I have it out here in the Outden. I actually have a PS2 hooked up, and I've been playing God of War, the original God of War on PS2. And oh my gosh, it's so great. I just finished the playthrough, I think 2 days ago. I finished it. And it's got such a great storyline. The gameplay is so fun. And honestly, for being a video game that is that old, like, it holds up so well. I had a blast playing that. So I'll be starting God of War 2 probably tonight, honestly. And I'm just going to try to play through all of them. Really, really looking forward to it because I've still never played the newest God of War that came out a couple years ago, the one that's just called God of War. So I want to get through these first.
The newest one is called God of War?
Yeah.
What is the first one called?
God of War. It's like a reboot.
Oh, okay.
But it's a reboot like in a smart way because it's like a completely different style of gameplay and everything. And it's like it continues the story. So it's like years later and stuff. It's really cool. I played like an hour of it and was like, I'd rather play through the old ones first. But I also started playing Death Stranding. And that is the weirdest video game I've ever played in my entire life.
So while Jake's been reading all these, if playing all these, like if he's playing a game in bed, which Death Stranding he usually plays in bed, I'm reading. So I'm like really engrossed in my book.
Yeah, gross is the right word for it.
Whatever. And every once in a while I'll look up and I'll be like, what?
Dude, it's
happening.
So weird.
Or he'll tap me and be like, I need you to stop reading for a minute and watch this part of the video game because I don't know what's going on.
Dude, it's so wild. I've never played a video game like this. And the thing is, it's Kojima who's the mastermind behind Metal Gear Solid. And I love Metal Gear Solid. This is some of my favorite games. I would say like God of War and Metal Gear Solid were like some of my favorite franchises whenever I was growing up. So I was so stoked about this, and I gave it a lot of time before I got into it because I read a lot of negative reviews. But it's fine. Like, it's not amazing, and it's not, like, blowing my mind. It's definitely blowing my mind in a different way because I'm just like, what is happening here? If anyone has played Death Stranding, please go to my Facebook page and talk to me, or go to our Facebook group, Jake and Chia Rubel's Blessed Ones, and just comment on there and just be like, yo, that game's messed up. Like, just talk to me about it, please. But that has been a lot of fun. I did pick up some good video games. I'll probably do a Facebook live stream about the video games I picked up recently. So if you're into that, check out my Facebook page, and I'm going to do a stream. I went to a pawn shop and then in Atlanta, a few different pawn shops. None of them was very good. Like, I picked up Death Stranding for $25, which was more than I should have paid. But I just felt bad because she kept bringing video games out from the back room, and she was working so hard to get a sale. I was just like, I'll take this one, you know, because they were like, all video games are $25. And I was like, just across the board, they're like, yeah, it's just easier like that for us. And I was like, okay. So I was like, oh, well, maybe there's like an expensive one in here that I can like, I'll buy like a couple of them. No, they were like, none of them was worth that much money. But I was like, she worked very hard and she was very sweet. So I paid $25 for the game. So whatever. But I picked up some other ones that I'm pretty stoked about at a place called The Book Nook in Atlanta, and you would have loved it. It was.
I love a good book nook.
They had so much there. Mm-hmm. Like, it was amazing how much they had. So, I was just looking at this to see if. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Well, I mute it and then.
Yeah, I know. But anyways, yeah. So that's what I've been playing. I hopefully will have a Vita soon. I talked to my little cousin the other day. He said he's got a PS Vita that he wants to give to me, so that would be great because I'm really wanting to play that. So, all right, let's talk about what we've been reading.
Yeah.
All right. You want to go ahead and kickstart this one?
No, you can go first.
All right, I will go first because I actually did finish a book. How do you like that? And
I thought you finished a couple.
Well, no, I finished one for sure. I finished one, and then I am almost done with 3 other ones.
Okay.
But the one I read, it's called Meddling Kids. This is by Edgar Quintero. I probably mispronounced the last name. This book is so much fun. So much fun. Like, I'm trying to see if I can find Alright, I'll just read this. For fans of John Dies at the End and Welcome to Night Vale comes a tour de force of horror, humor, and H.P. Lovecraft. The surviving members of a forgotten teenage detective club and their dog sound familiar. I mean, it's basically Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
So basically what
What's
this
this
is,
called again?
it's called Meddling Kids. You should read it.
That's the audiobook you told me I need to listen to.
Yeah, you really should. It's
What'd you
very
listen
good.
to it on?
Overdrive.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so the library app. So basically it's like if the Scooby-Doo gang grew up in real life. So, you know, like one of them's on drugs, one of them's in jail, there's all these different things that are going on with them. And then like what if like one of their cases maybe that they solved, they pulled the mask off the guy and they're like, all right, we solved it. What if that wasn't all that was there?
Ooh,
so I don't want to give too much away. It was so much fun from beginning to end. I really love this book. If you like kind of like, it's a good horror book because it's like H.P. Lovecraft horror.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
H.P. Lovecraft horror is like not scary. It's almost like sci-fi horror.
Yeah.
And that's how this is. It's really, really good. It was so much fun. There is a lot of twists in it, which I dug a lot. So that was a lot of fun to read. And then I am almost finished reading Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Turns out I've never read this book before. I thought I had.
That's crazy to me.
I know. I thought that I had read it before, but I never have. I'll finish that tonight, almost for sure. And then The Sandman, I'm almost finished with that. And The Ballad of Black Tom. The Ballad of Black Tom kind of like hit like and it's such a small book, it's weird to say this, but like you can lose me quickly in a book.
Yeah.
If you got 6 pages that are just like not great,
I
can fall out quickly.
I know.
And then I can come back later, but it's just like I don't know, it's just a weird thing with me.
Because I hate starting a book and not finishing it. I can have a 300-page book and not get into it till page 150, and then I'm like, oh, finally.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
but see, that's
Fellowship of the Ring.
I feel like that's how I am with a lot of the Stephen King books, though, and it's so good at the end that it's worth it.
Yeah.
So.
See, Fellowship was not good at. I mean, maybe halfway through it got better, but the next 2 books were the payoff on that.
And that's why I've never read those, is because I read The Hobbit and loved it and started The Fellowship and was just like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And I just never finished it.
I think it's funny that I thought it was amazing that I read The Hobbit in 9 days, and now I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I know. I've
changed quite a bit since then.
You're right, yeah. So what have you... I think I'm at 23 or 24. Okay. I believe I'm at 23.
So I am at 44 books.
That's insane, dude. Insane.
One of the books I'm currently reading, I'll probably finish in the morning. So I finished Preludes and Nocturnes. Do you have the second volume in our Amazon cart?
I don't know.
Okay, well, you need to get it. Just go ahead and get it now if it's like only $20. And then, so that took me a minute to get into, but now like I'm really into it. Yeah. So I'm very excited for volume 2.
I felt like it was something that you would like.
Yeah. And then there has been this series I keep seeing on like spicy TikTok that I've been wanting to read because people are like, oh, this book affected me so much. It's called the Ravenhood series. The books are Flock, Exodus, and Finish Line. I started reading Flock on June 29th. And then I finished it. And Exodus and Finish Line, the 3rd book, I finished on July 3rd.
Dang.
So I started the series on June 29th, and I finished it on July 3rd.
That's wild.
So, the Flock was pretty spicy. They're all pretty spicy, but that was the spiciest. I thought I stumbled into something that I wasn't sure I wanted to read, but I don't think I did because it was just one scene of the book. But, so here's my thing. I like spicy books. We all know this. But there has to be a story to it. Something has to be going on other than just this love interest. That's why I hated 50 Shades of Grey. Literally, that entire
book. By the way, I
book,
fixed your mic.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, if you lean up just a little bit more or pull it towards you, it's going to be way better now.
What about now?
Yep, so much better. Sorry, everybody.
50 Shades of Grey is literally a bunch of correspondence back and forth through emails. It is going from one location to the other, talking about this contract, and some spicy scenes. At the end, he alludes to something going on. But he's like this billionaire CEO, so for all I know, his stocks are plummeting, and I really don't care if that's what it is. I get it. A lot of people love this, and maybe the second one would, open my eyes and something suspenseful and cool is going on. But whatever. The Raven Hood trilogy, there is. And it gives you enough to be like, oh, something's going on, what's going to happen? But it doesn't, divulge everything in the first book. So, by book 3, you're like, oh, I like the way they did that. I like that twist and that turn. I need that. Give me an actual story.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff that you've told me about these spicy books that you read.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. I think I would get into that. But,
you don't want the spicy stuff?
I don't want the spicy stuff.
Why?
I just don't. I don't know.
You'd be embarrassed.
I don't know what it is. I've written some because I applied for that publishing company one time where I was going to write. I was like, yeah, I'll write that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll probably, I could see me doing it, writing it again just because it honestly was kind of fun to write. I'm not going to lie. It was kind of fun.
It's fun to read.
Well, it's fun to write.
Okay, well, it's fun to read. I don't want to write. So the books I'm reading now, I guess I'm going to start this Meddling Kids on my way to work here in a little bit.
Yes.
I'm reading
It's not that long. I think it's only maybe 10 hours tops.
Okay.
The audiobook.
I'm reading The Predator, which is Dark Verse number 1.
I thought when you told me that you were reading The Predator, I thought you were reading a spicy Predator, the movie Predator.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, I know.
But no, this is a
I mean, for you, not for me. You're creepy about The Predator.
No, I'm just saying, I just think if I was confronted with the Predator, he wouldn't kill me because we'd have some sort of connection.
That's disgusting.
I don't really like him so much with the mask off, you're right. But with his mask on and his dreads, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, okay,
I'm
whatever.
just saying. So I'm reading The Predator. I technically am reading Neon Gods, but I've been reading a lot of audio or ebooks lately, so I haven't got too far into that. I can't talk tonight. And then Catching the Rye is still my bathroom book, but I haven't been really reading too much of that.
Yeah, I think I need to get. I think I'm gonna get a Kindle book, an ebook. I was gonna say we have Kindle Unlimited.
Well,
I got it for you, but I just I feel like Kindle Unlimited. There's a lot of books on there that I don't care for, but you would.
Oh,
so that's why I got it. A lot of times I like to read. If I don't know why Kindle Unlimited just doesn't have a ton of 50s, 60s sci-fi books. You know what I mean?
Have you looked?
No.
Okay.
So maybe I need to.
I was gonna say there's a lot on there.
I'll check it out.
How much do we pay for that a month?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Okay, so
I don't know how much I pay for anything,
Kindle
dude.
Unlimited,
it's so bad.
I don't know how much it is. I really want to say it was $10.99 or something, but look into it. You can have it on your iPhone. It doesn't just have to be Kindle. We have iPhones. It's a great app.
Yeah.
And then Overdrive, that's what I'm going to be listening to Meddling Kids on. That's through the library. There's other ones for the library, too. I can't remember what it's called.
Other Overdrive?
It's not Overdrive, but
I'm saying
app.
Other things like that. Overdrive's the only one that I know of.
No, there's another one. But so there's all kinds of ways for you to be able to get your books either free or not have to pay that much. $10.99 is not too much considering as opposed to going to the bookstore and buying all these books,
Right. Yeah.
So.
And I'll say this. I'll say that there's been a lot of people that have been saying stuff well, I just don't have time to read. And I get it. We've talked about that before.
Totally.
I understand.
But it's also sometimes reprogramming your brain. How often do you just sit and scroll through Facebook or some other social media and you're really not paying attention? You just have your phone in your hand.
Well, not only that, but we're talking about audiobooks, driving to the store.
Yeah.
20 minutes a day.
But
something like that, or while you're cleaning, or just there's different ways. I feel like if it's something that you really want to do, there are ways. And this is somebody who
gotta I had to reprogram myself to get back into it. That first year, I made a goal of 15, and I only read 12. That was a hard 12 to read.
Yeah.
Because I was reprogramming myself. When I pick up my phone, and look all through Facebook, and then 20 minutes later look through. Guess what? Maybe 1 or 2 new posts was put up.
Right.
So
we
I'll
don't need to
switch
constantly
over
be on it.
to my. I'm not seeing anything new. I'm not starting any new conversations or anything. So I'll be like, why am I have my phone in my hand. I have an ebook. Let me read that. Or, and in the car, I'm listening to the same songs over and over again. I love them, but I'm like...
Yeah, sometimes, I'm not saying don't listen to music. Sometimes jam out. Get that music. But like...
Or listen to podcast.
Yeah, preferably this one. Definitely.
But it's all about, like, reprogramming yourself. Because I talk to a lot of people, like you're saying, that are like, man, I wish I could get in reading, but I don't have time. I talked to a girl the other day, so she's dyslexic, and she has ADHD, and she's like, it's just really, really hard for me. I said, well, have you ever read graphic novels? And she didn't quite understand what a graphic novel is, so I explained, and she's like, oh, well, I used to read comics all the time. I loved them. I read them all the time. I said, well, it's still reading. I said, I'm reading. I said, there's all kinds of graphic novels. It's not just like superheroes or Archie comics or stuff like that. Like, there's whole universes.
Right.
And so I think that's the other problem. I watched something on TikTok or Facebook about an English teacher who literally didn't care what his kids read. They could read a comic book, they could read a magazine or a book or whatever. He's like, reading's reading. And I think that's another way we got to reprogram your minds. You don't have to read a typical novel. It doesn't have to be 500-600 pages long. One of my favorite series is the Shadow Children series, which book 1 is Among the Hidden. I talked about it earlier this year. There's 7 books in it. The most pages one of those books have is like maybe 225, 230. I know a lot of people that'd be like, oh, well, that's a tiny book. An adult shouldn't read it. Why? Why does it matter? I'm reading.
Right.
That's literally
exactly.
all I care about. It doesn't, if that's all you can commit to, which sometimes that's all I can commit to. I've talked multiple times on here about how if it's more than 350 or 400 pages, I don't really want to do it. Now, I've read multiple books where it is past that page count, but it's got to be a good story that really draws me in. But for the most part, no. You make that more than one book. You let me finish one, digest it, and then I'll decide if I'm going to read the next book.
Yeah.
So, again, you need to reprogram your mind, quit listening to what society tells you is appropriate for reading. Just read. If you can't even commit to a graphic novel, just pick up a comic. Pick up, issue number 375 of Superman or whatever, Just pick it up.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so we got to wrap this up. I'm sorry. You just have to go to work.
I do. But I just like talking about stuff.
I know. So real quick, mental health check-in. All we're going to say this week is take a little bit of time out for yourself, at least 1 hour this week.
Yeah.
And do something that you love.
This week.
Be selfish. Be selfish this week. At least an hour. Give yourself 1 hour. And just, even if that's like you watch the thing you've been wanting to watch, you play a game, you read a book, or you just sit and do nothing for an hour. That's also fine. Just do something that means something to you and can help you recharge your internal batteries.
I know we all have work and family. Put it in your calendar and then tell your family, I have an appointment this day at this time. It is a me appointment.
Yes.
And again, I know people have difficult family situations and stuff out there. The majority of the time, though, you're going to find out that your loved ones, they don't care. Take that hour.
Yeah. We
put all this pressure that, we have to do this, this, and that for them, when really, they're not going to care for that hour.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do want to take a minute to, speaking of mental health, to thank our new Patreon supporter, Tim. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tim, you've been fantastic. You've become like a new friend to us. You've sent all the messages that you send me, and you know what I'm talking about. Dude, they mean a lot to me. All the comments on the Facebook page, all the shares, all that stuff really mean the world to me. So, dude, you are 1 in a million. I really appreciate your new friendship. Thank you so much. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for supporting us. If you want to support the podcast, please go to patreon.com/laughandbeblessed and sign up there. Everybody who gives, thank you so much. I would say all of your names, but I'm worried that I'd forget one because my Patreon app is down right now. I cannot log into it. That's what I was just trying to do. So, but you all know who you are, and we really
love
appreciate
you all so much.
So, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. This is great. This is the first podcast in the Outden. So, yep, the studio will be finished soon. A lot of work tomorrow. Big plans in here, doing a lot of stuff. So, this whole weekend basically is going to be insulating and hooking up electrical work and everything.
I didn't know this.
Yes. So Lance is coming over tomorrow to do all the electrical work, and then I'm going to go buy all of the insulation and get started on that. Yes. So it's going to be great. So thank you guys so much. We really appreciate and love you, and hopefully you guys are just living the best life that you can possibly live. Read a book, play a game, watch a movie, do something for you. I mean, our life is busy, but we make time for ourselves because that is super important. Take care of your mental health. Love you guys. Have a great week. If you get down at all this week, just remember all you got to do
is laugh and be blessed.